Let's look at three things you have to avoid saying to your teenagers as much as you can. Number one, why can't you be like your brother, your sister, the kid down the road, or your friend? Why can't you just be like them? Now, this is a common statement with a lot of parents. And for some parents, it doesn't quite come out like, why don't you behave like, or why are you not like this kind of person? Sometimes it comes out a bit more subtly in different forms. But a lot of parents do this thing of trying to compare their young people with other people. And I kind of understand where that comes from, because you really want what is best for your child. And so when you look at other young people who are doing well in, I don't know, academically, physically, or whatever, there's that tendency for you to want to compare a young person to them. But studies, research has shown that that is one of the worst things you can do to your young person. And so I'll talk specifically about one study in China, in a high school in China, that looked at over 579 parents and young people. They gave them questionnaires with very interesting questions, and the findings were, in my opinion, equally as interesting. So the teenagers completed questionnaires about how often their parents compared them to other children, how often they compared themselves with classmates they thought were doing, in quote, better than them, how they felt about themselves. I mean, their self-esteem, how confident they were about themselves, and whether they generally had a positive or optimistic outlook on life. Now, the findings. The first thing was that teenagers whose parents regularly compared them to other children were much more likely to start comparing themselves with their peers. So, because they saw their parents comparing them to other people, they thought it was the pattern, and then naturally they start comparing themselves to other children. In other words, when parents kept saying things like, why can't you be more like, your cousin or the guy down the road? Or look how well your friend is doing. Many teenagers began looking around and constantly measuring themselves against other teenagers. The study also found that teenagers who were naturally more optimistic coped better. In other words, teenagers who naturally had a positive outlook to life kind of were able to, shake off that feeling. But teenagers who looked at life a bit more differently had that pressure on them a lot more.